continue to
Night,
travel
the
in
city
and
of
out
Lagos
of
There is
waits and
still a
dark
one
as all
level
routes.
Say to you on
Be the first to know.
Core TV News.
From the north, south, east, west, and around Africa, we break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are Core TV News,
Welcome to Core
a
TV News.
24-hour news station.
Glad to have you join us on Wednesday edition of Core Digest. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Many have questioned whether the discovery of oil in Nigeria is a curse or a blessing. But whatever division or whatever divide you belong, the truth exists that Nigeria remains one of the largest oil-producing nations in the world, and that, as it is today, is responsible for one of the largest source of income for the nation, coupled with all the human resources that also exist. On the show today, we'll be turning our attention to oil theft, one of the major challenges affecting the production of oil and subsequently on the economy and the well-being of Nigeria. We showed you earlier on some of our neat clips in the news of the Navy operation in Ikorodu, marginal axis of Ikorodu actually, where thousands of 50-liter kegs filled with petroleum products were found kept inside the waterways. Now, how all of this kick-started, how it impacts on oil production in Nigeria, and most importantly, the question still remains, who are the culprits? I'm joined this morning by Sam Olisa, a public affairs analyst. Good morning, and thank you for finding time to join us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you are a resident of Ikorodu, and that makes it very, very interesting. But let's start from a more general approach to this issue.
Yeah.
This is not the first time that we're hearing of oil theft in Nigeria. You recall the Arepo, you recall, I mean, it's just so consistent. What do you think is responsible for this menace?
Well, oil theft has been done. When we mention oil theft, we have to also talk about pipeline vandalization. You know, oil theft in two forms, petroleum product theft and crude oil theft. It's been on for some time, particularly the petroleum product theft. If you remember in Delta State in JC several years back, where people went to scoop oil, and one of them, you know, lighted a cigarette. The whole crowd, all of them, got burnt. So it's been on. And what I can say is that this is a fallout of the corruption that has ravaged this land. The corruption is all over the place. So in government, when there's corruption in government in top places, then everybody is looking for how to get involved. They see it as national cake. So looking at NNPC report, Nigeria lost 77.87 billion naira to petroleum product theft, pipeline vandalization, and crude oil theft in the year 2013, out of which the petroleum product theft accounted for almost 50%, while the crude oil theft accounted for the other 50%. Precisely, the NNPC gave a report that 327,480 metric tons of petroleum products were lost, while a total of 2.312 million barrels of crude oil were stolen from pipelines under that period, 2013. And when you put them together, in terms of you know, value, the crude was 38.88 billion, while the petroleum theft accounted for the balance. So the total amount lost in 2013 was 77.87 billion.
You know, no doubt.
It was higher in 2012. But because of the activities of the Navy, activities of security operatives to clamp down on these culprits, so that of crude reduced in 2013, while that of petroleum products, you know, shot up. And the three major axes, Mosimi, accounted for the highest. You know, this Ikorodu theft is under Mosimi. Then followed up by Kaduna, followed up by Warri, and Port Harcourt is the least, because the naval presence in Port Harcourt is heavy. So these areas, Mosimi, have been neglected for a long time. So the activities of these thieves have thrived. So until recently, because they focus on the axis of Port Harcourt, they focus on crew theft. So this area, it has been going on for a long time.
You know, not that it's a multi-billion naira venture, so
I've
to
just
speak.
given the figure.
Yes, you know,
77
and all
point
of that.
something billion in 2013 alone.
But if billions of naira are being stolen away via pipeline vandalism, oil theft, and all of that, how is it that we've not really been able to pinpoint to certain individuals who are pivotal and primary to these particular theft in
Well,
Nigeria?
we cannot say an individual is the sponsor now. The latest arrest in Ikorodu, we understand that we have 5 policemen, security operatives that are there. And then as a matter of fact, this policeman has been protecting them. Policeman has been asking the civil defense not to interfere. If you look at the recent, what is going on in the country, it's called at the Civil Defense Corps. Maybe because of the discipline, because of passion and commitment. A little bit more, they are more committed than the police. They have been very useful. I think based on tip-off, so these people that are arrested are not just one person. It's not as if everybody was participating in it. I live in Ikorodu. You know, every Sunday I leave home by 6 a.m. to go to church. When I got to Majidu around, maybe around 20 minutes after 6, I saw the presence of the Navy, Naval and the other security forces. I would even wonder what was going on there, but they were very orderly. They were not harassing commuters.
Okay.
We passed by neatly. But when I was coming back from the church in the evening, it was heavy traffic. There is no doubt this will have unintended effect on the traffic situation on that place, because construction of the road is just going on, which has taken its toll on traffic. And accompanying with this, we will spend several hours. But I can say, in my own opinion, I think this is temporary. What we are going through, the traffic gridlock, the thieves should be caught. If we can lose 77.87 billion naira in 2013, this money is enough to provide job
But
for
as
all
a
the graduates
resident,
in Nigeria.
as a resident of Ikorodu, because many have also asked the question of the involvement of the community in all of these. Are you not aware of what was happening?
No, not
in
at
your
all.
neighborhood?
Ikorodu is big. This area, the concentration is in Majidu. I don't live in Majidu.
Okay.
You know, if you look at that Majidu, you look at there are temporary structures all over the place. People didn't know that was what was going. I personally, I would talk of my own. I didn't know that this is the type of things going on there.
Okay.
You know, scooping and stealing, running into billions of millions and billions of naira. I wouldn't know that because I buy my fuel from a pump, from petrol stations. So I wouldn't know that.
You
And
might not know
I
that,
can also
but-
say it for majority of residents in Ikorodu, they may not, they won't even know that. But those that are doing the business, they are not even selling it. Why are the thing, stored in jerry cans? To transport them away. So if they are selling it in immediate area, you will not see those many jerry cans as you are
But
seeing.
we probably
you know?
might not totally absolve the community too of this, because
I am saying
why
the
our
Majidu,
reporter,
the Majidu, yes.
What
The
our
Majidu
reporter was on
community,
ground.
even the youth, they said they were happy because Majidu is just an area in Ikorodu, so it's not Ikorodu proper. So I'm not defending them.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a widely practiced, the whole of Ikorodu.
But
Because
what does that tell of our value system as a people if a community under the guide, under the watchful eyes of a community, such an amazing level of corruption is taking place?
I think even the tip-off came from the community.
Okay.
You know, maybe when they started this thing, they were doing it, they were concealing it, but it got to a time when they started doing it with reckless abandon. And I think in every community we have the good citizens. So the tip-off to the authorities are from the community, because if there is no tip-off, you cannot, if there is no information, you cannot clamp down. So I'm not absorbing the community totally, but not everybody there will be involved. However, we need to put the record straight. If the leadership is bad, then what happens to the followership? If we have a discipline, we have disciplined leadership in this country, leadership that can declare their asset openly and can come out that, look, I'm not here to enrich myself. And not only saying it, but we can see it, that this person truly is not there. But in a situation where cash, $9.3 million raw cash, $5 million raw cash, making way to other countries, these are the ones we discover. So I'm not justifying stealing. I'm not justifying it because stealing is corruption. No amount of the way you define stealing is corruption. Stealing is stealing. So if the leadership are not stealing and they are serious and there's discipline and this our national resource, our blessing goes round, and I don't think this type of thing should be happening.
But you know, don't you think that oftentimes we're quick to point accusing fingers to leadership? Because some would also tell you that these leaders are not strangers, they're not foreigners, they answer our names. They are probably a product of the value system that now exists from, you know, in our families, which is the primary
I always
organization.
ask one question. Always, I ask. If you enter into the bathroom to take your bath, do you bath from the feet? You bath from the head. You start your bath, you put your soap on the head. As a man, even a woman will wear a shower cap, you start bathing from the upper region. So the leadership is very key in the socio-economic development of a country. If you have good leadership, what we are calling all these Nigerians, let me tell you, Nigerians are very afraid. People don't want to die. When they see leadership that is serious, everybody will turn the line. Let me tell you, from Semeboda to Abidjan, I've traveled far away in West Africa. The vehicles that plies the roads, 80% of them are Nigerians. And they obey traffic rules. Because those countries, they are strict in the enforcement of their traffic rules. You will see that they obey. You will be wondering. You see Nigerian plate numbers all over, including particulars. But once they cross the Semeboda to Badagry side, come and see recklessness. Because here, we believe that you can get anything you want. Once you have the money, you can bamboozle your way through. That's the type of societal value we have, you know, which our leadership has not been able to change. And the worst part of all is that the leadership is with reckless abandon, telling us that when your president says he cannot declare his asset, that is not his business to declare his asset. And raw cash are flying around. So what do we expect?
It's all right. I want us to quickly focus on how to change this situation, because this is not the first time that such cases even coming from Ikorodu. I have an excerpt here from the PM News, and it was in 2012 or 2013 thereabout, where certain people were arrested with, you know, certain number of 50-liter kegs of petrol. So it's been there, and you know, the question now on the lips of many is, what happens to the people who were caught? I'm going to ask the MCL to pay.
The Western Navy commander, I said that all those products will be handed over to PPMC, you know, give it back to them, while the culprits will be handed over to the appropriate authority for prosecution. And I believe him. But more importantly, all these culprits we are seeing, you know, there are some crack cartel which has to be unraveled by our security forces. It's not just messengers, but the crack cartel. And again, everywhere we have waterways, everywhere we have our economic values, Navy must establish their presence permanently. So once that is there, and they are strict, they are able to provide the type of leadership we are talking about, then this thing will be a thing of the past. But if even today, after arresting all these people, you didn't prosecute them, and the product finds way, however, whatever, whichever way, back to the pockets of the same people, you know, then we're in trouble, we're in greater trouble. But I am impressed by the report of the NAPC that 2013, because of the clampdown, the figure went down. But the only figure that was going up is that of petroleum product theft. So what I'm recommending right now is that the Navy, you have tried. We commended you. We don't mind the inconvenience of the traffic for this short period. They have assured us that the operation is going to be temporary, but they're going to establish their base. So let them do that.
It's all right. When we come back after this short break, we'll be finding out if the security agencies are really overwhelmed. Because not just the Navy, we have the Nigeria Police,
Yes,
we
we have
have
the Army.
and I want to believe that the Ikorodu axis that we're even talking about is not void of any of the security agencies prior to this discovery. We're going to play the report we got on Sunday, and I believe it features the testimony of the people in that neighborhood telling us what they think happens there and their own position as regards to that. And we'll be back with you after that. Don't go away.
The saying that every day is for the thief and one day for the owner played out against the masterminds of oil theft in Majidun community, Ikorodu, Lagos State. Thousands of 50-liter containers containing stolen petroleum products by pipeline vandals were intercepted on the Majidun waterways following tip-off. Core TV News gathered that the well-stored product is set for illegal exportation. However, little did these suspected oil vendors know that their trail was about to be discovered by the Nigerian Navy, who deployed its men to sweep the area of all illegal activities. Officials of the Nigerian Navy also disclosed that some of the containers were found in abandoned houses in the community and some outlets built on water. With the magnitude of the illegal activities discovered in this area, it was an Operation No Movement for residents of Majidun, who said the operations of the naval officials started about 4 a.m. Kafayat Ibrahim, a resident of Majidun who was reluctant to speak initially, later disclosed the information at her disposal.
They say they put cake for there. No do. Now the thing we I know say they do not be down. They do am morning, they do afternoon. For evening set they do am. Now anytime they do.
Another resident, Abiodun Austin, said he was glad that government is finally rising up to its duties of nabbing vandals whom he described as enemies of the nation.
We don't have any power to conquer them, but when the government itself open eye and see what is going on, then we are free. It's not anybody that went to report them. It is the government that see them and know that they are really economic sabotage.
The flag officer commanding Nigerian Navy Western Command, Sami Alade, however, opted to give full details of the operation at a press brief.
So, right, and of course, we have an update on that report where the Navy command officer, of course, handed over thousands of liters of kegs filled with petroleum products to the NNPC. We'll probably show you details of that later. But Samuel, you had the people in that community.
Yes.
And, you know, of course, some of them saying they are aware of what was happening, although probably because of fear of the unknown, they could not report. How would you describe the relationship that exists between indigenous citizens of this nation and the government in putting things right?
The relationship between citizens and government.
Citizens, between citizens and government.
Okay, what really established, before I talk about that, I want to really analyze the statement of the two residents spoken to. You can see that the operation is a real clandestine operation. And those behind it, they are armed. So if you see them, you must say you didn't see them. Because if you say you see them, then you are dead. So that is why those people kept quiet. Those people that we spoke to, maybe that is the level they can leave that area. So, and from what I can see and you can see too, you discover that those products are not to be sold around. Thousands of liters, probably. They are taking it out of the country. You know, probably. Because if they are going to be sold around, who are going to be the buyers of those thousands of liters of petrol? And that is why in that area, the residents were jittery. And when the operation became, you know, the lady said before they were doing it in the night. Later, they now do it in the day. They now do it in the evening. That is, they were stealing with reckless abandon. So, and I suspect that there was an informant before the Navy moved in. So it's good. So now the relationship between the residents and the government. From the outlook of that place, you will see that there's no government presence. People living in shanties, living on top of water, you will see that there's no government presence at all. So if there's government presence, even if there's government presence, you see that the environment will be different for what we're seeing. These are downtrodden people living below poverty line. So what we're saying in essence is that government presence is very important. Citizenship, what we call citizenship. Today, let me tell you, if you cannot generate money, you cannot work, generate income, you can't even drink water because there is no potable water. You need to buy what people call pure water, bagged water. They call it pure water. So you cannot even afford, if you don't generate income, you can't even drink water. Not to talk of food, not to talk of education. So the presence, what is the essence of our national wealth? And what is the essence of democracy? Democracy is to channel our national wealth to the people so that the people will feel the presence. They will be part of it. It's very unfortunate. Majority of Nigerians are living below poverty line.
Although we can't confirm this, but there are
With
also...
the records, the statistics of what bank?
Not even that. There are unconfirmed reports that many people are not just only aware of the operations in this area, but they are also beneficiaries, possibly get those petroleum products at cheaper rates than they are being sold at the legal filling stations. And then the involvement of a high number of unemployed youths. Does that justify unemployment, poverty? Does it justify what is termed as oil theft in this area?
Morally, it doesn't justify it. Morally. But in a situation where, as a citizen of a country, after you toil to be educated, you are getting nothing back. And you are seeing people that are even less educated than you and are going into these activities and they are getting income. You too, you will participate. Maybe not to the extent of the cartel. Because I believe that there must be a cartel behind this operation, behind this theft. It's not ordinary. It's not where you just go and you can, scoop for only 2-3 days and you scoop maybe about 200 liters or you scoop about 250 liters, but thousands. So there must be a cartel. So if that operation is going on there, the people within the immediate community will also benefit to the extent to which they will benefit, maybe running their generator. Because when you look at that, these people, they will be using a better pass my neighbor generator, maybe using 50 liters for 2 weeks. So to that extent, they will benefit. But not to the extent of exporting it, because they don't have the wherewithal of getting vessel.
You made mention of cartels, and I asked you earlier because we also, while we talk about even the removal of oil subsidy, this issue of cartel always comes up. Some highly powered individuals in the nation who are responsible for all of this. So why is it so impossible to break that cartel in Nigeria?
Because of corruption. If you have a leader today that is prepared to break every cartel, to be broken, some will automatically dissolve. Some will be broken. Now, for example, the petroleum subsidy cartel, that is a paperwork cartel.
Let me hold you for
high
a minute.
level.
We have a caller from Abuja. Just hold your thoughts for a minute. Hello, good morning, Benjamin.
Hello? Hello?
Good morning.
Hello? Hello?
Good morning, we can hear you. Go ahead with your contribution, please.
Hello?
I should reduce the volume of his TV.
Benjamin, are you there? Hello? I'm afraid you have to call us back. When you call in, endeavor to turn down the volume of your TV set so that we can hear you clearly. You were talking about the cartels.
Yeah, in every operation there is a cartel. This petroleum pipeline vandalization and petroleum theft is a physical operation. So there must be some people, buyers behind it, who will sponsor them. Because when you have all those thousands of liters of jerrycans of petrol, you don't carry it one by one. You carry it a vessel. You have to hire a vessel. So that's why the issue of cartel comes in. Then that is a physical cartel dealing with pipeline vandalization. Don't forget the NNPC report for 2013, the pipeline damage accounted for only 5%. After the whole 100% of the, only 5%. The remaining are vandalization. So before you vandalize it, we have the technology to do it. You have to enter to the water. So there must be sponsors of this operation. That's what we call cartel. But right now, such people are behind the scene. We are only arresting the messengers. So if the messengers are arrested and proper investigation is conducted by the security forces, they will get to the root of the matter and get the actual people behind it.
What has been the implication of just arresting the messengers and
Okay,
leaving out the culprits?
of course, we start from somewhere. It's because the real culprits are not there, right on the field. So if you say, okay, we are looking for the real culprit and you didn't arrest their messengers, their agents, you can't reach them, you can't get to them. But when you arrest these people and you interrogate them, you know, different levels of knowledge. So they will get to the bottom or the root of the matter. That is for the petroleum product vandalization. But for the subsidy cartel, that's a different issue. You remember the federal government set up a committee, you know, to examine those claims. You know, it's a cartel that they submit claims for what they did not import. So that was going on. And you remember 2011, Nigeria, we pay for petroleum price, which the actual subsidies was not there.
Just a minute. Let's take this call from Ikorodu. Good morning, Kayode. Hello, Kayode.
Hello?
Good morning. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Please go ahead, Kayode.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Oh, I want to contribute.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I am very sure that there are powerful men behind these operations. And I want to tell you that ordinary Nigeria cannot have the money or will be there to buy jerrycans and other things. So I'm very sure that even some people who are Filipino owners, they are behind those things. So until we have discreet investigation, especially against the so-called powerful men behind it, we cannot get to the root of it. Because ordinary Nigeria cannot have the money to hire FECU, to hire chief, and what have you. And so if we export the oil or the crude or the petroleum outside Nigeria, that's my contribution.
Much Kayode calling from Ikorodu. Some have also questioned the willpower of government to ensure that these powerful people are brought to book. How do you react to that?
It's necessary for the government to have the willpower to bring them to book. I hope they will do that. If you look at the commander of the Western Naval Command, he has done a very good job. You can see him personally. He is committed. He has done a very good job. And if he's commended, and if somebody did not intercept what they are going on, what they are doing right now, then I think we'll be getting to the bottom of the matter. And it is necessary. We have to do it. You have to do it. You have to curb. But if you don't do it, if you don't curb it, okay, at a time will come where your export, your official export will be lower than the local theft. So what will we be doing? So, and I think government should have that way. The mere fact that is dwindling the revenue coming to the federal account should prepare government to have that way to stop the cartel, to prosecute them, to unravel it.
Let's look at the economic impact of all of these on the average Nigerian. Of course, we've talked about pipeline vandalism, how it affects the total production
Cost, the maintenance,
maintenance
of the pipelines.
and all of that. Possibly Nigerians are not, especially people who know that these things are going on, are not doing anything about it. Maybe they're not aware of the adverse effect, the adverse economic effect on the country.
No, I don't think people are not doing anything about it. You've said it. This is not the first time they are making arrest, right? Without information. Even the operation going on there now, without information, that operation will not come to play. So I think it's not everybody. As bad as Sodom and Gomorrah was, we still have Lot. So in every society, we still have those of us that can keep our head above water. So, but that is, by the way. Now let's talking about the impact of the Nigerian economy. It is enormous. It affects the revenue that comes in officially into the federation account.
Okay.
It affects it tremendously. You know, when it affects it like that, if it is not curbed, you know, when something is going on and it's not curbed, it will begin to flourish. It will be increasing. I've just given you a report that of 2013 was lower than that of 2012.
Just a minute, let's take this call from Kaduna. Hello, good morning, Austin.
Good morning.
Go ahead with the contribution, please.
Yeah, I can see that we have been hearing about vandalization and stealing of oil for a long time. What I think is that people are impoverished, especially people living in areas where the oil is being exploited. What I suggest the government should do is to mop up these guys, train them for overseas training on how to refine oil, and then give them license. They should form a cooperative. Then give them license, they will buy from federal government, refine, and sell on their own. I think that should be the solution.
It's all right. Thank you very much for your contribution,
Once
Austin from Kaduna.
criminals will be brought and taught how to refine oil. I mean, it's never done anywhere in the world. If you want to invest, it's a capital-intensive area.
But have you heard about some illegal local refineries?
Of course, there are so many, and they're clamping down on them. There are so many. We have seen some on the news, you know, where they show the news, where the Navy is clamping down on them, where they have drums, local refined, very local. They put firewood to fire the drum and the crude. Yes. So, but that is not enough to get these people to get them, train them or how to refine. They're criminals.
Well, it's been done before.
They are criminals, and they should be treated as criminals. They are economic saboteurs.
It happened in Niger Delta, where people
who
in their protest to get
no, that's a different issue.
Engage in certain criminal activities.
No, that's a different issue. The Niger Delta issue was that they were fighting, they were preventing the multinational oil companies to have access to the crude, that we are not getting anything back, so don't come here. So when, at the end of the day, that is a real communal claim, fight. So at the end of the day, they're still reason with them. So we have to do something.
Well, are you saying there's no way that they...
So you cannot ask criminals. These are real criminals.
Okay.
Stealing. Unfortunately, the other day our president said stealing is not corruption, but stealing is master corruption, theft. They are criminals. So criminals will not be encouraged.
What I'm saying is...
tomorrow, excuse me, I'm reacting to the man that come from Kaduna. If criminals are encouraged because they have committed crime, okay, come, don't steal again. I will teach you how to refine. Because then tomorrow more thieves will come up.
But even the Western...
That Niger Delta own is a different issue. They are fighting for their own right, that this crude is taken out of our soil, our water, our means of livelihood. Our waters are polluted. We cannot fish. Then there's no school. There's no hospital. So stop it. If you cannot give us something back to what we are taking from our soil, don't come here.
Possibly Austin is just
that is not stealing.
Just a minute.
Okay.
Possibly Austin is just looking at alternative ways to
that is a very wrong alternative.
At a time where in Nigeria,
it should not be taken by any serious-minded person.
So
that thieves will be encouraged. No way.
At a time in Nigeria where our refineries are not functional, and then we have certain local people who by themselves manufacture the technology to refine oil. Are you saying that the Nigerian nation cannot in any way
I disagree.
Tap into that technology?
The technology, the crude technology they are using, what is the percentage recovery? Okay. Is it proper recovery? No. If our local refineries are failing, that is also due to corruption.
Let's take this call
the same thing.
From Suleja. Good morning, Sulaiman. Good morning.
Yes,
Please go ahead with the contribution.
congratulate the man. Yes. My contribution is this oil vandalization has been going on for a very long time in this country, particularly around Suleja area to his Kimina area. But the most important thing is I think the government or other, I don't know whether to call it other security agencies must have to have an additional security agencies that can be checking other security agencies that have been mandated to do this job. Because it's a classical example here in our area.
Did you hear that?
Oh, are you there?
Did you hear what he said?
I'm afraid we lost that. Please.
No, I didn't hear him well. So that's why I'm asking.
But of course, it was talking about first corroborating what you're saying and saying that even such incidents is happening in Suleja as we speak, and the involvement and proactive involvement of government in bringing down this operation. But beyond all of that, we were talking about you're outrightly against empowering these people.
No.
But then we also
empowering in what form? Criminals should be tried. They have committed economic crime. So if I'm not saying government should not empower the youth. They can, like in that area. Look, when you show the area, it's shanties. You see them. You see that level. In fact, normal human beings should not be living in that area. It looks like Morocco of those days, that was closed down by Lagos State government. Got alternative place for them. It looks like Makoko. So this is dehumanizing. I'm not saying government should not empower the people, but you don't encourage criminals. That, because you have committed crime, we don't want you to commit crime again. Now come out, let's work together. No, they should be tried and punished. Innocent people should be encouraged.
But are you aware that the federal government is extending an olive branch to members of the Boko Haram sect? If you can surrender, then we will empower you. Why should oil vandals be an exception?
Well, that is a different issue. In every situation, in every war, that's why it's war. In every war situation, you reach out to your enemy.
Just a minute. Let's take this call from Sulaiman. Sulaiman is calling back. Hello? Please go ahead with the contribution now. Are you there?
Yes. Like I said, I was just trying to point out to give out my contribution. This issue of our organization has been very long, particularly along Suleja to Zamro. Sometimes those officers that are operating who are supposed to assist even the local vigilantes who are working tirelessly, they possess with other criminals to even disallow the vigilante to their work there. So virtually, I think government should have another supervising agents who can be able to supervise even those government agents. I mean, those security operatives, like conventional forces who are mandated to do the job. The other secret of the agency should be watching them so they can be giving report. This is a very important scenario, particularly here in our area. We have reported this matter severally, but yet we are still having this kind of problems. And I believe some other places too, this problem could have been imagined. So this is my contribution.
Thank you very much, Sulaiman, calling from Suleja. Of course, you recall the Orosai report talking about multiplicity of agencies in Nigeria. Come on, we have the police, we have the...
I'm not subscribing to
How do you react to that?
Yes, I'm not subscribing that you have more agents. The function of the Navy is to police our waters. Okay. Whether inland waters or territorial waters, that's a function, and I think we have a capable Navy. From this operation, they've demonstrated that they are capable. So what I would suggest is that government should give them more flying boats, if possible, more equipments, more gadgets to surveillance gadgets, so that they police our waters effectively. That is their function, and they are doing. And with this operation, I'm very happy with them. But it should not end. We should not just end with this operation and leave another space. Come back again in 2 years' time. It will be more severe in 2 years' time. They should establish their presence and patrol the waters. The inland waters is under the command of the Navy. The Western Naval Command have done very well in this issue. So don't go and be establishing multiplicity of agencies I think why people are afraid to tell the police. They will have seen the operation going on. It's very unfortunate, with all due respect. If you tell police can disclose to the criminals. So we hear those people they were in the interview. They said,
You're
well, we're
saying that
seeing
our
them.
people do not have faith in the Nigerian police?
Of course, 5 policemen were involved, directly arrested.
Let's take this caller from Jos. Good morning, Mohammed. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm terrific. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Mohammed is speaking. I'm fine. How are you? My contribution is in respect of this very particular discussion. You know, in a situation whereby if you term those people as sabotage, you are doing the right thing. But in a situation whereby you say they are not criminal, you are encouraging criminality in the society.
Go ahead, please.
So what you are supposed to do is to make sure that anybody involved in that very particular issue should be prosecuted.
It's all right. Thank you very much for your contribution. Prosecution of offenders, especially in oil theft, somehow also question the credibility of both security agencies and leadership generally to prosecute this kind of offenders. Because some would tell you, as an average Nigerian, I mean, how much are these people stealing compared to what the big politicians are stealing?
Well,
over
yeah,
there?
it is true.
Very unfortunate.
People will say how much are they stealing. It's very unfortunate we find ourselves in this situation. But that does not mean that criminals should not be prosecuted.
Okay.
It doesn't matter at all. Criminals to be prosecuted. It's not everybody, it's not every judge that is corrupt. It's not every naval officer, it's not every policeman that is corrupt. There should be an element of discipline. So once you are caught, you should be prosecuted.
It's all right.
So that is universal law. So Nigeria will be rewriting justice, law and justice. If you now gather the criminals, say, oh, well, you did this thing because you were poor. Now we want to train you to be refiners. So I will make money available. Then what are you going to get out of that? A lot of huge number of criminals. It different not only in pipeline vandalization. Then people can now begin to do other things. Oh, government will soon come and they will pacify us. They will negotiate with us. Don't forget the Boko Haram issue you mentioned earlier. Government initially said they were not going to negotiate. There's nowhere in the world that will go straight to the round table to negotiate with terrorists. You unleash terror. You unleash terror on terror. So when you have upper hand, they will now ask for negotiation. That's what America did. I'm not closing negotiation. But if one of American president, I forgot, Abraham Lincoln, he said you pick up the gun to get the gun. If terrorist language is terror, then government should unleash terror on terror. Because there's an argument that says drastic disease needs drastic cure. So after doing that, it's the terrorists themselves that will now, okay, we want to negotiate. Look, America did not negotiate with Osama bin Laden. They knew he will never come to the table. They killed him. They looked for him. They got the right logistics, the right approach. He was killed and buried in the ocean.
It's all right. Let's take this call from Mina. Good morning, Esther. How are you today? Good morning. Esther, are you there?
Fine, I'm here.
Please go ahead with the contribution.
Yes, I'm here. I just want to make my contribution concerning what you are discussing.
It's all right. Go ahead, please.
There's a caller that comes from somewhere, and he was talking about, comparing this test with that of Niger Delta. I don't think that is right. The Niger Delta had a case. If you go there, you know the sufferings of those people. You see what they were suffering. And in fact, that led to whatever action they might have taken up. They suffer, they are suffering. So I don't like the issue of whenever things like this happen, you want to compare it with the Niger Delta. The north or wherever cannot suffer what those people suffered. They can't begin. They are suffering. So we should stop comparing things like that. Thank you.
Much for your
I think
contribution.
Esther is the same position I took. Yeah.
Exactly.
Esther,
Well,
I think you are right, and I've cleared that one earlier. You don't, Niger Delta issue is different from criminals vandalizing our pipeline, you know, costing us a lot of pains in the economy.
we're rounding up now. What role do you think the average Nigerian, the patriotic average Nigerian, can play in all of this?
Of course, we have a lot of role to play. First of all, by way of information. You know, like I said earlier, that I said that even as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah was, there was still Lot there and the children. It's not every Nigerian that is a thief. It's not every Nigerian that is corrupt. For those of us that can live with our head above water, we still have a responsibility. By way of giving information, there are ways we can give it. We thank God the internet, is, the social network, you know. Apart from that, you can give it by proxy so that you protect yourself. Because who knows, the person that gets the information. You can imagine, America said they are afraid to share information with our security men, you know. They prefer to stay in Chad than coming to Maiduguri. So we should be patriotic. It's not going to be like this forever. There's nothing that has beginning that does not have an end. Patriotic Nigerians should remain patriotic.
It's all right. Thank you very much, Samulisa, for your contribution. Let's just take this last call from Kwara. Is it still there? Okay. Well, I've been speaking with Samulisa as a public affairs analyst, and it's been the big question, who are the culprits of this incessant oil theft in Nigeria? You saw the clips earlier in Ikorodu. Billions of dollars being lost to oil theft yearly in Nigeria. Much of these funds could also translate into practical development for that poor and average Nigerian on the streets. What role can you play? Kudos to the Nigerian Navy, but it can't just stop there, because we've heard of similar arrests in the past. Who are this cabal? Who are the people, the real persons who are responsible for this crime? These are issues and questions on the lips of many Nigerians, and we hope the government can stand up and answer the questions. We shared with you yesterday that there is a cops on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, just opposite the OPIC Event Center before Bega, and I believe that's close to the Fagbims filling station. We're calling on authorities from Ogun and Lagos State to ensure that this corpse is carried away. It's been there since Friday, and you can tell what the mess will be like right now. We're calling on Ishere North for local government in Ogun State. We're saying that ensure that something is done. We spoke with some eyewitnesses yesterday who said that this is not the first time that such cases happen in that area, that the long bridge before that place also has witnessed some dead bodies, and they just leave it there until they become skeletons. And I begin to wonder, what kind of nation do we live in? There are FRC officials who take care of traffic congestion just a few meters before that place. What are they doing? What are the Nigerian police doing? I mean, several other security agencies. Please ensure that something is done concerning that cops. And that wraps it on Cold Digest today. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Do join us again same time tomorrow for another exciting edition. Stick around.
Core TV News, expanding your view.